So, getting this collar tie, we're getting to our Russian 2-on-1, and I'm making sure that my shoulder, the front of my deltoid, is on the back side of his deltoid, and I'm internally rotating that elbow. The more I can row this, the more I'm going to be shutting off his primary movers of his lat and his chest and the upper body, but I'm also going to be shutting his arm off. It's just okay to be here. But here, if you have a strong guy, it's going to be difficult to hold him because he can start to rotate and turn, right? And it's, especially if you're just trying to hyperextend that elbow, it's too easy for them to turn and rotate it, or if somebody's really strong, they can start curling it toward themselves. If I internally rotate that elbow and I pin it to my chest, now when Nate goes to try and pull his arm away, it's much harder. I'm very attached here. Versus this, it's like out. It's hanging out away from my body versus being completely connected to my torso. So from here, I want to start driving in. And as I start driving in, I'm going to start putting my shoulder pressure straight down between the two of us. Now, when I do this, it's not a bow. A lot of people fuck that up. It's a rotation. So I'm not bowing, I'm rotating. And as I rotate, I'm leaning onto him. So I've got this bowed in, I'm gonna rotate and then lean onto him. So I start getting him lower than me. We're in our front headlock curriculum. So naturally we're gonna start transitioning to our front headlock off of the 2-on-1. But in order for me to get there, I need to make sure that the crown of Nate's head is below my armpit. That's our demarcation line. If I don't get the crown of his head below my armpit, I'm gonna start having to reach and overextend myself. And in doing so, I begin to attack somebody who still has their kinetic chain intact. If I do that, that's how people get lifted and slammed. Anytime somebody goes for that desperate, like, guillotine attempt here, it's too easy for them to lift you. If they have a wrestling background, forget it, you're going for a ride, right? I had to break their posture first before I start trying to make a closed loop around their head with my arm. So the easiest way for us to do that is going to be our Uchimata. So I'm driving in, I'm breaking his posture. Naturally, he's going to fight that. As he fights that and he starts pushing back up, making some space between us, I'm going to take a double step. So I'm going to take my leg that's furthest from him, I'm going to click my heels together, and then I'm going to swing it to the inside. Now, when I swing it to the inside, I am not chopping like a golf club, like this. My leg isn't straight, my leg is bent. From here, I'm gonna hinge at my hips, and then I'm gonna mule kick through, and that's gonna leverage his pelvis over. So, we get to this Uchimata position, I'm gonna bend over, and then I'm gonna mule kick. Now, if Nate doesn't fall over. So we're here, I get to this Uchimata position. From here, I'm gonna bend at the hips, and then I'm gonna mule kick straight backwards, and that's gonna tilt his pelvis up toward the sky. Now from here, as he goes to catch himself, he's gonna naturally circle around in front. As he does, I'm gonna let go of his wrist, I'm gonna drag his elbow toward me, flare my elbow, and catch the back of his head with my shoulder. My hand goes from the wrist to my chin strap. Notice how I've already started putting my ear in the armpit. The reason I put my ear in the armpit instantly is I'm shutting the door behind myself. I've already got him circling this way. I forced him to circle that way. If I go here and then I don't shut the door and he continues to circle, his head pops out. So if I'm going to secure the position, I need to make sure, bang, I Uchimata, and then I close the door behind myself by putting that ear in the armpit. Now from here, we step our feet back, bend our knees, hinge our hips, and start putting weight on this guy. So, we're getting to our Russian. Bang, I'm driving in. Now from here, I'm gonna start to put my shoulder pressure down between the two of us. Remember, it's not a bow, it's a rotation. I rotate and drive my shoulder. He wants to resist that. I click my heels and I start stepping in to this Uchimata position. I bend at the waist and I mule kick straight backwards. Now from here, I've rotated him. I take my hand from the wrist and I'm gonna flare my elbow and catch the back of his neck with my shoulder. I put my hand on his chin and I automatically put my ear in his armpit. Now from here, I step my feet back nice and wide, I bend my knees, and then I hinge my hips forward, putting all my weight on his shoulder girdle and cervical spine. You see me? Yeah. So, we're here. Get an actual color. There you go. Yeah. If they do a shallow one like this is not going to get you very far. It's too shallow. They're not committed forward. What you want is somebody who's like bullying you and pressuring you with his elbow. That's what I want. I shrug, I turn, I peel it. Get to this V Russian 2-on-1 position. From here, I'm gonna start to put my shoulder down between the two of us. Remember, it's a rotation, not a bow. He's naturally gonna start to resist and start to push back up. As he does, I'm gonna click my heels together and enter into this Uchimata position. From here, I'm gonna bend at the waist and mule kick straight backwards, rotating him and breaking his posture at the same time. Now, from here, I let go of this wrist, I flare my elbow, and I catch his neck with my shoulder. I put my hand on the chin, I put my ear in the armpit, then from here, I step both my legs back with bent knees, I hinge my hips forward, and start putting weight on it. One last time. We're here, Russian, I start driving, putting that shoulder pressure. He resists, I click my heels, I get to the Uchimata, I mule kick through, shoulder to the neck, hand to the chin, ear to the armpit. From here, stepping back, bent knees, hinging my hips, making his neck and shoulder girdle carry. All right, let's do it. 1, 2, 1, 2.